You're listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. Hi, I'm Francine.
And I'm Carrie.
We're two best friends who can't stop talking, usually about Disney stuff.
Sometimes we have fascinating guests, and sometimes it's just us. But it's always positive and fun.
We're happy to have you join our chat. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. Hi, Carrie.
Hello, Fran.
How are you doing?
It's that time again.
It's that time.
Podcast talk.
Maybe that's our new jingle.
Insert the jingle now.
Time.
Okay. It's too early to insert the jingle, I know, but...
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Insert
probably.
it later. Don't forget.
Okay, don't forget. We're not going to forget this time. Because you know what it is? We just got to take a breath sometimes. That's the problem.
I know.
So, we're back.
We're back. And we went away.
Yeah, so everybody knew that I was going away, but nobody knew that Carrie was. Surprise!
And this is a perfect example of why I believe in the jinxies.
Yeah, so...
Because I almost didn't make it.
But here you go, Carrie. You didn't tell anybody about your trip, and the jinxies almost got you anyway. So what difference would it have made if you had told people about the trip? Like, you think the jinxies would have been worse?
No, then I got to spend the whole week at work and everywhere else telling everybody why I didn't go to Disney World, Walt Disney World.
So that's what. So you just
explaining myself.
So Carrie says nothing. So if this is your first time listening to us on the podcast, I have no problem telling everybody I'm going on vacation. I got this plan, blah, blah, blah. Because if something happens, then I got a fun story to tell you. Carrie believes that if she tells you about the trip, it's going to jinx it.
Just there's all kinds of jinxies in general. Like it's a bigger jinxies, you know.
It's not just about trips.
It's
But so she doesn't say anything. So we've been talking about my trip for a couple of episodes.
We talk about it when we are going on a trip together, but like I just have experiences in the past, like a volcano blew when I was on the way for a trip, and it wrecked my whole trip. So like it's since then I've always been like, you know, let's just not get too excited.
Right.
You know, let's not climb to the top of that volcano and scream to everybody that I'm going on a vacation. So that volcano shall blow.
So anyways. You had this trip planned.
Yeah.
So tell us about. So this was a trip to Walt Disney World that you had planned.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened? So let's talk about Carrie trying to get to Walt Disney World.
Yeah, it was a bit of a pain. Like where we live.
A bit of a pain?
Where we live, the week before our trip was balmy and warmish for the winter time. We had no snow at Christmas time. It was in the double digits probably some days. We had lots of rain. It was like yucky spring, yucky fall. That's what it felt like. And then like a couple days before we were traveling, winter showed up. Like snow like crazy, cold temperatures, things freezing. And I had booked my flight out of Buffalo, very, very cheap flight on JetBlue, which I've flown quite a few times. And I got a message on Friday. I was to fly out Sunday morning. I got a message on Friday that my flight was canceled because Buffalo was being preemptive with, you know, the snow they get. And then I was in a bit of a pickle. So I tried to make lemonade out of lemons, and I booked a flight out of Toronto for Saturday afternoon.
So you figured I'll go earlier.
Yeah, I booked a hotel. I booked the Gaylord Palms. I thought, I've always wanted to stay there.
That was so exciting. I was excited for you to go and stay in that hotel.
Yep, but I got to the airport and we were delayed, which we kind of knew when I booked the flight that morning that it was delayed. And my flight cost three times the amount of what I paid to fly out of Buffalo, FYI, if anybody.
So 3 times the amount out of Toronto than what
last
you paid
minute booked the flight
JetBlue.
At like 10:30 in the morning, and I only booked the JetBlue flight like in December. It's not like I booked it years ago.
You hadn't booked it like months and months and months.
Yeah.
So this was Saturday morning. I booked a flight. It was supposed to go at 4. We knew when we booked it, it was already delayed because, you know, they text. So you booked the flight 6 hours in advance of the flight.
Yep. Then I left to go to the airport. We get to the airport we wait for the delay, working on the laptop, just, chilling out, like it is what it is. And then we get on the plane and like maybe 6:30ish, 7, 6, whatever, maybe
So a
earlier.
couple hours late, you get
Couple
on the
hours
plane.
later, we get late on the plane. We sit on the plane. I watch almost 2 movies on the plane
Was one of them the
before.
Karate Kid?
No, I did not watch. I watched the Barbie movie and I watched, oh, what did I watch? Anyways, so after they told us when we got on the plane that they were having a hard time opening up the hatch where the luggage was from the previous flight people. So the plane came in from Paris. So early in the morning when I was deciding which flight to get on, knowing that Toronto doesn't always do the best job with getting flights out in snowy times, there was a flight that had already left from Paris to Toronto. So I was like, excellent. That flight's
The
en
plane
route.
will
It's
be
going to be
here.
here. There was another flight that left at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Maybe it was like a 7:30 flight or something. The night, the whatever the one is after the 4:25, that flight, it was coming in from Quebec City. And I was like, oh, like, isn't the weather like going that way? And I thought, well, what's the chance of that one just being completely canceled? Because I was looking at all the cancellations, like everything was delayed and lots of stuff was canceled. So I thought that the Paris one was
A
the
good
way to go.
sure
Anyway,
thing.
so they couldn't open up the hatch to take out the Paris travelers' luggage. So that's what they did when we were on the plane for the movie and a half. And then finally they got it open and they said, okay, we'll just be a little bit. And they started taking the luggage out. And then they told us that they decided they were canceling the flight. So sent us home. By the time we got to the
Like,
bag carousel to wait 45 minutes for our bag, which we don't know if it made it on the plane or not, they had booked us on the 4 o'clock flight for the next day. But then 1 minute later, they gave us a notification that that plane was going to be delayed to like 8 o'clock or 8:30 or whatever because
oh my
they had to get a
gosh.
big plane. Like it was a plane that came in from Japan. It was bigger than the plane. Like the plane we were on was like a 242, and this was like a 343, the one that
Wow.
we went on. And the back, like, and there was lots of empty seats. Like I took pictures of like the rows, but we were at the window and the 4 seaters across from us were like all empty. Like, but they had to get a big plane in, and that's probably why they delayed it to later in the night, maybe. Anyways, got to Disney in the room about 1:30 in the morning is the moral of the story. I did make
After
it.
like basically 3 days of
Wondering, should I just throw in the
plane
towel?
cancel. Do I throw in the
Should I
towel?
move
So
it to next month?
I've never heard of this before, that they had, so the plane arrives from Paris
It's
and it's
frozen.
shut shut,
They can't get the,
basically.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Wow.
Can't they like pour hot water over it?
Right? Like, get out there with their hair dryers and go around the seal or what? Like, how crazy is that? That the
Mm,
hat, but I guess like you have to be so careful too because they don't want to damage the aircraft trying to pull it
yeah.
open.
And
So,
it took
but
them
why
most of
put
the
you on the
time.
plane? Like
I
that's the
don't
part I
know.
don't understand. Like normally the plane arrives, passengers are getting off, and while you're getting off the plane, they're opening the hatch to take
Yeah.
the luggage off. Because if you have strollers and stuff underneath, they've all like they all come back up to the gangway or whatever it's
Hmm.
called. So
Yeah. And what
how on
they
earth
did,
did they all get off the plane and you got on and they still hadn't opened it? That's insane.
yeah, I don't know. We were on for with like I watched the Blackberry movie.
Oh,
And
was that good?
I liked it.
Okay.
When we got to a certain point in the length of time we've been on the plane, they had said, due to, the regulations or the rules, like you are allowed to leave the plane if you want to. You're allowed, like, please, get up and walk around, do whatever, like, because we'd been on the plane for so long. Like I legit was at the very end of the Barbie movie. So the Blackberry movie and the end of the Barbie movie by the time they told us
Wow.
that we were done. And really, it was really only at the very end, like maybe the last half hour, was when they actually had it open and were trying to get the bags out. And it was a big plane. They told us once we got up in the air, we were going to be there very quickly. And the next night, it was the same thing. Like we were delayed. We were delayed a little bit, but like that big plane gets you there in like 2 hours. Like it
Like
shaves
it's
off like the
Speedy
half hour that it
Gonzalez.
takes or whatever, like the other, like the size planes that we're used to. So being delayed, he's like, they said, don't worry, when we get in the air, it will be a shorter flight than usual or whatever. But and then the next night we were delayed a little bit, like boarding, and they're unloading a humongous plane like that. Like when the plane gets there and there's only 45 minutes before you're supposed to leave, like, you know, they're not going to unload it,
it's not
load
gonna.
it, clean it, and get everybody seated in that amount of time. But yeah, no, that was so, yeah, it
Wow.
was a little stressful just trying to figure what to do. Contemplated driving, but then we thought, well, it's hard to get through Buffalo because of the snow. Like Buffalo had to delay their football game on Sunday to Monday because there was so much snow. Apparently, they were looking for volunteers to shovel out the stadium.
I did see some
So
of
it
that
was one of
online
those.
of people shoveling the stadium so they can play.
So definitely it was Buffalo handles snow very, very well. Like if you fly out of there and it's just regular winter, they got it no problem. They barely bat an eye, and that's why it is okay to fly out of
Right.
Buffalo, even
And
though
they're
they get so much
preemptive.
more snow. Yeah, but like this, when it's like that, then it's a different story. And I was kind of glad they did tell me so far in advance. Like I had a
Yeah.
hotel booked in Buffalo for Saturday night. So I was able to cancel that and not have to pay the one night fee. I had Mears Connect booked. I called them so many times to change the times, to change the
You're
hotel
like coming in
back.
at 4, coming in at 6, coming in at 8,
Yeah,
maybe
well, the
tomorrow.
day I changed the date, I changed to get picked up to get dropped off at Gaylord Palms. I called back to change it back to Disney and change it to the next day. And even the Gaylord Palms, like they weren't going to give me a refund, but because I booked it just, when I got to
Yeah,
the airport, I booked the hotel for the night, and the front desk was very kind and didn't make me pay for the one night,
that was
but they
good.
should have.
They
They should
should have,
have.
like, you were within the window that you would have been get the
Mhm.
penalty.
Yeah, for sure. So other than paying, um, well, it was over double. Like the Buffalo flights were like $320 US. And I
Wow.
think I paid like 1,200 and something Canadian for flying two people to fly.
Goodness gracious.
Which isn't that bad really last minute, right? Like if it would have been a
No,
thousand
I mean,
dollars
you
each,
booked
then you'd
it.
be like, guess what?
Technically, you booked it at 10 a. The one that you got, you booked at 10 a.m. to fly out at 6. Like,
Yeah. Hmm.
not bad. Um,
Hmm.
but
So
yeah,
yeah, I did
oh
make
my
it.
gosh. So you spent like how many hours at Toronto Airport on
I don't
planes,
even, well, I don't
trains, and
know.
automobiles? Like
Enough.
your poor Park and Fly. So you go in,
Oh yeah,
park
no,
and fly, you park.
I
How
had to
much?
pay one day park and fly, and so yeah, I had to pay park and fly and more for flights. And
So when you
then,
call them, like, I know I just dropped off my car, but I'm coming back.
well,
I
you know
need
what the
my
funny
car
thing is?
back.
I as soon as like, and I was kind of as soon as we knew we were getting off the plane, I called Park and Fly and I put my number in, and I couldn't figure a way to talk to somebody. And then when we were waiting for the bags to come, I was like, oh crap, like what if they put me on the 6 a.m.? Like I don't like they park your
Yeah.
car, like they must have a method to how they park, where they park, depending on where where like how long you're going to be. Like I don't know, I'm sure I talked about it on a podcast, maybe I didn't, but a couple of park and flies ago they actually lost my keys.
Yes.
And so I did talk to them a little bit about how they work and how they move things about. Like they might continually move your vehicle throughout the time you're away or whatever. So I wasn't like, I thought, well, if they've parked it all the way in the
In the boonies.
in the boonies, and I've just alerted them to pick my car and bring it back. I thought, what if they put me on a 6 o'clock in the morning flight? Because some people that we were at the luggage carousel with, they got on the 6 o'clock in the morning flight. And I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
oh crap. And like, so then I tried to call, but I did try to call Park and Flight. Not the easiest thing to actually try to talk to a person, because every number they have puts you into the queue to like, welcome back. And I was Googling and Googling and Googling, and the lady's like, no, just call, put the number in, we're gonna get your car. And I'm like, but I was just there. And she's like, don't worry about it. You put the number in, you dial whatever, we're gonna go get your car. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll see you in a little bit then.
See,
Like
you
even
never think of these things.
well, we waited for our bags for probably like 45 minutes, so there was plenty of time. There
But
was
where
probably
were
at
your
least an
bags?
hour.
They never got on, like they didn't have the plane open. How on earth? Like maybe they had them.
Well,
See, if
I
you
don't
had an
know
air
if they
tag, you might have known how far they got away from you.
Well, I don't know if like this was a big plane. I don't know if it was just one part of the plane they
Oh,
couldn't
maybe
open.
one compartment or
Hmm.
something.
Or if
Maybe.
or well, yeah, I don't know if that was the case. But what Air Canada has now, like with the air tags, is that they do scan your bags and tell you where your bags are,
Right. Which is
which
kind of
was
cool.
which is really cool. So I could see that I didn't, I should have, I wasn't really paying attention when we were leaving what my bags were doing, but on the way back and when we were landing in Orlando, I was checking to see like where it had been. Like they said when it scans to get on the plane, it says when it scans to get off the plane. So like I'm standing there knowing like, well, the bags just got scanned off the plane 2 minutes ago, so
Right.
it's going to be 10 minutes or more for the
So you
for the
checked a
bags to
bag.
come. I did check a bag, yeah, one bag.
Oh yeah,
Like when I'm waiting for bags, I just think this is why I don't check bags. Not because not I don't have one fear at all about things getting lost. In all the years, knock on
Yeah,
wood, in all
knock
the
on
years
wood.
I've traveled, I've never had a lost bag so far. I've had a delayed bag where they had to deliver it to me, but like considering all the travel, like in the old days, I would have checked a bag every single time, right? It wasn't until I started going to Disney more that I would just be carry on, carry. But but it's more like the waiting. It's so frustrating.
I
Like when you
know.
had a long day and you're landing late at night and then you wait for an hour for your bag to
For your
come.
bag. Yeah. Yeah,
Annoying.
and it's so hit and miss. Sometimes it's like right there, your bag's like we walked off the plane in Toronto on our way home and the bags were already on the carousel. It
Yeah.
was crazy. And there was no lines at customs or anything. So it's not like we were held up there. But when we arrived in Orlando, oh my gosh, one of the things didn't work. They had to change where our bags were. Like it was, yeah, I
When
get
we
it.
landed in Orlando, our bag carousel thing changed like three
Yeah.
times, and then I think they came out on two different ones.
Yeah. It was a bit nuts.
For
So
sure.
you were supposed to fly out after 3 failed attempts. You finally got there Sunday night. Well,
Yeah.
technically
Two
Monday
failed,
morning.
two failed attempts in one successful flight. Much later in the day. Like the plan was to be there early and spend like the night in Magic Kingdom and
Yeah.
whatever. Like so yeah, the next morning too, you're kind of tired. Like it was a long day, a stressful couple of
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you arrived on the Sunday. The plan was you were going to arrive on Sunday and
Hmm.
I was arriving on Thursday. So we
Yeah.
knew we were going to have a slight overlap,
Hmm.
which is always fun. So your trip, it's the Sunday you arrive.
Hmm.
Carrie, where did you stay? I'm interested to know, like you're going, you had all the, what, 22, 23 resorts to choose from. Where did you stay, Carrie?
All Star Sports. My favorite.
Yeah.
Well, I had to do some research.
Uh-huh.
So I booked
Research,
the
like research, seriously, research.
research.
Okay, go on. Sorry. Go on.
Yes,
Yeah.
research. Because I needed to understand what it was like staying in the garden wing area of the Contemporary Resort.
Oh
It
yes,
was
because you
research.
needed it was
Also,
research. Carrie, last trip we were there together, you and I literally walked all the
it's
way around the
not the
garden
same.
wing. We walked down the hallways. We even peeked in some windows.
It's not really
So
hands-on research.
she loves the contemporary. She just doesn't want to say it. She just doesn't want to say it, but she loves it. You love it.
I love the beach club. That's my favorite. But the contemporary, I don't know. I needed to I needed to see those garden wing rooms. I needed to feel what it was like to stay there.
Oh yeah,
What's that
absolutely.
walk to the main building like? What's it like to just have the electric water pageant just right outside your window?
Right
Like
outside your window.
I needed to feel these experiences. And also the quick service and the dining plans came back, so I had to go experience them as well. I needed to
Right.
understand the ins and outs of
Right.
this dining plan. So
And
it
what
was
better place than Contempo
then at the
Cafe?
Contempo Cafe. Honest to goodness, I probably ate it with traveling with you
Uh-huh.
and this trip. Like I don't know, I've eaten there. I probably can't even count how many times I've eaten in that dang Contempo Cafe. But I'm
But
gonna
you
tell
love
you,
it.
it's pretty good. They've got a pretty good selection compared to other. Like, well, oh no, I guess if you look at other
Come on.
resorts,
Come on. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's
it's good.
spacious. You always get a seat.
Well,
The food is good. You watch monorails come and go. Every once in a while, you get a little
mm,
song and dance from Chef Mickey's next door. Like, come on.
okay. I don't know about the like the ambiance is cool because of the monorail. That's it. Like
Yeah.
other than the monorail and the Mary Blair mural
And the
makes
Mary
it for me.
Blair mural. Come
But
on.
like
A little song and dance next
it
door.
could use some updating.
Where?
Like just generally that whole level. Like they should make it more like now contemporary instead of instead of 1971 contemporary. They need to make it like the lobby contemporary.
Oh, the lobby is pretty awesome.
They need to, I think
the lobby is pretty awesome.
It does kind of seem like, I like that it's the way that well, I don't know what it was. I know it was many different things when you were there when you were younger, like how it looked, the restaurants there and whatever.
Right.
But I definitely feel it's a little too much OG retro vibes. Like I think they need to make like new contemporary retro vibes up there.
Gotcha.
Like it's
okay. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
But like sitting there
I love
with the
what
monorail
they did with the lobby.
Is pretty cool. And their menu is pretty decent. Like that's one thing. Like
they have a good variety.
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, I don't eat maybe 10 times I eat there.
It's always good.
Yeah, it is. And you know the stores are right there if you need to like
and they're good
zip
stores.
in and look at stuff. Yeah,
they're
they do have
stores.
Good stores. But imagine if they need to be updated. Like they're like it's such an awesome space. It just needs to be a little modernized. And that's the thing. Like I don't think it's just like how it would have been when you were younger.
No.
So like they have done stuff. So it's not like
they've done tons.
It's not like it's like it's stuck in it and it's honoring what it originally was. Like I know there's been many things. It seems like it's almost like late 80s, early 90s decor or like layout or whatever, and it just needs to be. I don't want them to make it all incredible. Like I don't want Mr. Incredible like zooming beside like, you know, but I think it just needs to look like the main floor.
I do love that lobby. I think they did a really good job there. So
make it all Mary Blair, okay Mary Blair style post like, and that's what they've done in the main lobby. Really, like it's Mary, like they've got the Mary Blair art, and then they've made it,
and the furniture's all like the yeah. I do like what they've done there. So I agree with you. Okay, so we need to talk garden wings. But hang on, because we are going to insert the jingle before we talk about the garden wing rooms. So stay tuned.
If you're a Disney fan, then you should listen to Carrie and Fran. They laugh and chat and help you make a plan. If you're going to Walt Disney World or Disneyland, and you will become a Pixie Dust fan.
Okay, we are back. I love that. Carrie.
Yep.
So you did, so your new fave, Contemporary.
Well, not my new fave, but it's up
you
there.
Love the Contempo Cafe. Come on. It's okay to admit it. It's okay. Just welcome to my world. But we do need to talk about what it's like to stay in the garden. And now I've stayed in the garden wing a few times. And I like it, but I would prefer not to. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Why would you prefer not to? Like, other than the fact, like, the only thing I found different, really, between them was that there's not a monorail when you open up your door.
Pretty much.
Like, that'd be the reason.
The fun. Like, so if I'm going to stay in the Contemporary, I love being where I can open the door and see the monorail. And I also found like it's just a farther walk from the Magic Kingdom. So one of my favorites of the Magic being at that resort is being so close to the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, but you're also at BLT, which is even closer. Usually.
Right.
Like I don't know. I think the walk from where we were kind of in the middle of the garden wing section on the other side, like facing the little canal area or whatever. And like it was really barely a 5-minute walk to get to the main building. And it's not
bad. I only think it's a long walk at the end of the night. At the beginning of the day, it's not. At the end of the night, I feel like I'm never getting to the garden.
And if you had a car, you could park outside the garden wing area, which would be
it's perfect.
Helpful.
Yeah.
But I like it's quieter there. Like I have friends that are going next week in the garden wing, and they picked the garden wing for the basically because it's going to be quieter. Like not because it was lower priced or whatever. Like they got a little guy that's going to be going to bed probably fairly early. And it's quieter, and it is quieter for sure. Like like we were on the other side with the, like I said, the canal that goes to the other, like in between the lakes, and it was really quiet. So like when you're in the main building, like you can't get away from it. Like you open up your door and there's a constant buzz, unless it's I guess in the middle of the night, or
which is creepy when you do it in the middle of the night. Like we were in the Contemporary once and left for the airport at like 3:30 in the morning. And I got to tell you, like, you open that door and you're like, this is weird. Like it almost feels like you're in a haunted house or something because
Yeah.
it's so bizarre for the Contemporary to be that quiet and all you can hear are like the cleaning crew.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah.
But other than that, like there's always a buzz. Like Chef Mickey's is pretty much always going. The Contempo Cafes from 7 a.m. to 11
Yeah.
p.m. Like there's just a hum and a buzz, and
And all
there's
the
nothing.
hallways are open. So
Yeah.
people walking up and down the hallways, like on every floor, there's noise.
But in the Garden Wing, the rooms are exactly the same design now because they made them incredible. The Incredibles room, they're the same size. They're pretty much exactly the same room. They're just over there.
Just off to the side. But
You're
to be
close
clear,
to the pool. You don't have to go up and down
inside-
elevators to get to the pool area if you were going to spend a lot of time at the pool.
But if you were staying in the tower, inside your room is not noisy.
No, I don't remember it being noisy.
No. Like there's definitely like once you close the door, it's not noisy. But when you open the door, it's outside. Right. But in the wing, like it's quiet. It's almost like Bay Lake Tower. Like when you open your door, it's quiet. And the only reason you will see people in that area is if they're staying there. Like nobody's wandering around or doing anything like that. Like they have a purpose to be there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So my research was worth the research.
It was worth the research. And how about the electrical water pageant every night? Now, how loud was that in your room? Because that's always something with Bay Lake Tower and Contemporary. People, whenever I've been with people, they're like, oh, the water pageant. Yeah.
I think where I was, it wasn't too bad because I was on the other side. So for me to see the water pageant, I had to go out and go by the beach to if I wanted to get a really good view of it. Like I couldn't see it from my room until when they went through the canal at the end when they were still lit up. They were right there past the room. But I don't think it was too. It was kind of just like a low sound. But yeah, they're like it is loud from the other parents for sure. It's just a couple of minutes. The thing is, it's 10:05 when it comes by.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It depends if you're at Park Warriors and you're staying up late at the parks, you might not even get to see it.
That's
like
true.
I only saw the full. I saw it just one night, like in its full
entirety. And isn't it awesome?
Yeah, it's nice. It's kind of fun.
It's kind of fun. And that pageant was created in 1971.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Because the lake was so dark and they wanted something on the lake at night. Like, how awesome is that? And it's still so much fun. I love it. Love it. Okay, so I love the fact that you are now a Contemporary gal.
Well, maybe
you're
not.
also a Contempo Cafe gal.
Well, you got to eat. A girl's got to eat.
Exactly. So Contempo Cafe, good range of food. Yeah. Let's talk about the dining plan.
It was good. There's lots of food.
Yeah. So you did the quick service.
Yeah, I just did the quick service just because, I don't really like the idea of sitting down and dining every single night. So then I'd have to be forced to.
Well, and you were missing your signature dining pals, so
right. And then, well, I guess I could have done that and then just did a couple signature dining. But yeah, I had the quick service plan and I did two table service, just separate reservations.
Right.
And at the end of the week, we had if we wouldn't have had those reservations, we would have had the perfect amount of food. Really, we might have had a snack or two left because I did cash out some snacks for some bags of popcorn to bring home. But yeah, like it seemed to work. Like a lot of people think like, oh, I need 3 square meals a day. You don't need 3 Disney meals probably. Like you can make it work.
Especially when you're snacking and stuff during the day, or you're just having a piece here, or you're getting up late, or do you know what I mean? Like there's so much food.
Well, in quick service, like you can I think it depends on like whether you want to I like the idea of it just being prepaid and not having to pay for all of it as I go, or having a big credit card. Like, so, whether or not I get exactly the same amount of it or get a little bit less value out of it or maximize it and get more value out of it. Like, I don't want to buy it if I'm really not going to get the value out of it. But as long as I'm in that window of, again, I don't want to come home with look that I spent $1,000 on quick service food or whatever, and I was only there for 3 days. But like the quick service, you can get like a perfect example is like breakfast. You can get a sandwich for $8.99, or you can get a bounty platter for $13 or whatever, right? Like there's such a variety of things and price points. And I think a big thing too is if you drink lots of soda and lots of power drinks,
Yes.
Powerade drinks, you drink beer or wine, or you want a fancy, like they just don't have beer and wine. They got all kinds of cans of ciders and all kinds of stuff. I don't even know what they are. Like I think if you like to have an alcohol beverage with your meal, if you're an adult, then I think for sure, because a beer at Epcot costs $12.50.
I know.
So you buy your meal and you get a beer with it. You're
Well, it's Carrie's travel companion this time, so she did see the price of alcohol because you don't drink.
not really, no.
No. So you did.
But like I can see, like if you wanted to have, like maybe parents aren't thinking, oh yeah, I can't wait to drink beer when I eat. But like, if it's in the summertime or when it's warmer there and you want like a nice cold beer, you want like, again, they got all kinds of things that you can buy. And I was even looking on, like, when we were sitting around, I was like, when we were at Hollywood Studios, I was like looking through the app, looking at all the quick service to kind of see what they offered, like to see what they offered for the drinks. And it's not like it's always just the same things. Like some of them have like fruity frozen alcohol drinks.
Yeah.
Like they all have all kinds of different drinks. So like if you just kind of, have a drink with your meal because you want to have a drink with your meal, then that's where you'll see the value, because these drinks are in the, I don't even know if they would be as low as $8, but $8, $9, $10, $12 or whatever for a drink. And then there you bought your $14.99 platter or bowl or whatever or more, and then you've added a $12 drink, times 2 adults. That's when you have a $50 meal. So a $50 meal with mom and dad, and then the kids' meals, if they're little kids, like you're probably spending $70, $80 maybe and you got to get a cupcake or you got to whatever. But anyways, the dining plan was good. The app worked really well. Like it was very seamless to use, just like it was before. Maybe I don't really remember. Like could we mobile order before when they had the dining plan?
Yes.
Like was that just coming in, right?
Yeah,
Probably
I think so.
around
It was
that
just
time?
coming in. Yeah.
The mobile order worked swiftly, like using the band. Like it was just like it was. You can always see what your credits are. Yeah, it kind of they just brought it back, dropped it back in, and was like, here you go, here's your dining plan back, folks. And it was
worked
fine.
well.
And it worked well, yeah. And like still same thing, so many things, like all the alcohol, mostly I would think. I'm sure there's some that's not excluded. Like treats are the same, like you can get a bowl of oatmeal or you can get like a what do you call it, a bagel for breakfast, but you can also get like a cupcake, a Dole Whip cupcake at the Contempo Cafe for your snack credit, right? So it's still all the same, I think, like the variety and everything that you can get with them.
You can use a snack credit for any drink at Starbucks.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
And and I think if that's what, like, usually like I drink water and I don't necessarily always maybe get the cupcakes or whatever, but like if it's something where you like the Starbies and you like to have the you don't have to worry about should I all these drinks are going to add up. Like you could just have it and not
worry because you prepaid it, right? Like I really do think the value of the dining plan to me is not having a credit card bill when I get home.
Me too.
That's, like it's, yes, you can totally maximize it. You can always order the most expensive thing. You make sure you're using it at lunch and dinner where you can pick up a beer or whatever. Yes, you can do that to sort of get the most quote unquote dollar value. But for me, it absolutely is about not having the credit card bill when I get home. And or if you're vacationing with people who are paying for their own meals, right? Like it's kind of nice that you're all together, but you've all purchased the dining plan in advance, so you don't have to worry when you go to, like, if I'm going ahead to the quick service and I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna get everybody's meal, you guys go sit down and grab a table. We're using the dining plan credits that we have together, and we don't have to worry about who's ordering what or splitting the bill or anything like that.
Yeah, for
which
sure.
which is kind of convenient and nice.
Totally.
So,
and I think if you can see the value in it to a certain percent, then like you you can enjoy those cupcakes and have those beers and whatever and not be like, oh, a beer is $12.50. I'm not going to have one. Right?
Right.
Like, I think it gives you that, like, you're on, like, at a certain
You're on
point, whether you
vacation.
can warrant it, you decide whether it's a yes or no. And really the yes also to say, like, you're on vacation. Like, if you think
Get that Dole Whip cupcake.
that's right, you can have a, like, there's one thing, and when you prepay something, it's gone and over with. You're not thinking about it.
Right.
Like, I wanted to make sure I use my credits. I wanted to go to 2 dining room reservations to experience those. I gave you my credits, the
You
ones
did.
that I had left over, right? But yeah, like, I think it's more like if you've prepaid it, you're not thinking about it. When you're there, like, if you see that cupcake, but you're like, oh, I just bought one yesterday and that cost $7 US, $10 Canadian, right? Or whatever. So I think it's a carefree, like, if you decide to do it, or you like, part of thinking about it, like, you think about it that way. Like, you just, if, you won't think twice about having that nice cold beer, in May when you're sweating and you're like, why am I sweating so much? Like, or whatever, like, or even the bottles of water, right? Like a bottle of water. Yeah, I remember a couple trips back, you were riling me because Disneyland water costs more than Walt Disney World water, but I think they're up to par now, because I think the Walt Disney water was expensive this time. It's like $4.50 or $5.
No, it wasn't. So
maybe I was only looking at the Smarty Pants water.
So you're looking at Smarty Pants water. So here's the thing. Everybody was giving me the gears. I was reading online. Water's like $5, $5.50. I'm like, what the heck? Carrie, it was $3.75. $3.75. And I checked because I was like, wait a minute, everybody's telling me the water's like $5.50, but it isn't. Now, if you drink the Gross Dasani.
Oh yeah, well, the smart water is definitely like $5 or $5.
The smart water.
That's what I kept seeing, and I'm like, why does the water cost so much? And then maybe I don't even feel like I was really seeing Dasani very much. Maybe that's why.
That's like, why you got to ask for the Dasani.
Water everywhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, so even with getting bottles of water, right? Like, if you look, if you're looking for water and all that's in front of you is smart water, it's like, well, that's a $5.50 bottle of water. It could be one of your snack credits, or you get it with your meals. Like, every meal you get a bottle of water or whatever. But yeah, no, I like the dining plan. I give it, it's good.
You give it 2 thumbs up.
I give it my seal of approval.
Excellent. And what were the 2 restaurants that you did?
Boathouse.
Nice.
And Steakhouse 71. Because one, like, I don't think it's possible for me to go to Walt Disney World without having a Steakhouse 71 reservation. It just seems like
that's all we do these days.
That's all we do. I've eaten breakfast there like 18 times, I think, and lunch once or twice, and then I've had dinner there at least. And maybe I've never had dinner, but I know I've had lunch there.
They took the burger off the dinner menu, though. That's the only thing. So we did a dinner reservation as well, and I was really looking forward to the burger, but it's only on the lunch menu. So I didn't get my burger. I had steak instead, but it was delicious.
It's a very nice restaurant. The food is excellent. Like
those onion rings.
Our review was that the onion rings were good, but like the steak there was better than the Boathouse, right?
Yeah.
Can't smack talk the Boathouse because the Boathouse is like extremely awesome and amazing. But like, so I don't know. I guess it's really not that fancy of a place, but the atmosphere is just buzzing. That place is jammed and it is just buzzing. Like, it is so loud. There's like the layout of the restaurant is not meant to be like a steakhouse. Like, it should be the Wave probably, or it should be like a buffet or something.
It's like, not like a romantic dinner, kind of quiet, candlelight. Like,
but even like the fact that you're going and you're gonna, like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't cost that much, but like, like you're going for like a steakhouse experience where you think, well, if any time you're going to get an appetizer and a drink and a dessert and whatever, and kind of go like whole hog on this is, you think you do that at the steakhouse. But yeah, it's just buzzing. Like, there's just so much noise and there's so many people. Food's excellent, but it's just when you stop and think about it, breakfast is different, right? Because you kind of expect that for breakfast.
Right.
But yeah, when you're there for dinner, you're like, wow, it doesn't have very much charm.
But the food is delicious, but I'm with you. I totally get that. Yeah, we did a Steakhouse 71 too, and everyone was very impressed with their meal.
I should have Googled it. I had a mocktail there, and it was like whatever that red syrup is, like the grenadine syrup, and it had like
Like a Shirley
Probably.
Temple?
Well, well, it might have been, but it wasn't. It was probably like soda water or something like white, like something white and fizzy. I don't know. It was non-alcoholic, so it was probably soda water or 7-Up or something like that. And it had the grenadine and whatever else they put in it. And they put a scoop of orange sherbet in it. It's like
Orange
one of my most,
sherbet?
it was so good.
That's
And they
so
give you a little
bizarre. You could
spoon.
probably make that at home.
It was really good. Like I want to go back there just for that drink. And they give you like a little
Really?
spoon, and so like, because if I mix it all up and melted the sherbet, it wouldn't like it was okay. But like if you kind of like eat a little bit at the sherbet and drink the drink and whatever, it was an amazing drink. Like at the end when I only had a little bit left and it was mostly like sherbet syrup and whatever, I was like, oh, this is too sweet. But the fact that it had like whatever the soda water and the grenadine to sweeten it, and then it had a scoop of orange sherbet on it. It was so good.
See,
One of my favorite things.
you are always the adventurous, try different kinds
Oh
of
yeah.
drinks. Like Carrie loves to try different, like
Well, when you don't
you'll
drink
just see.
alcohol, you really don't have a choice. Like you're like, what do you got on the non-alcoholic drink menu?
You do. You always try a different mocktail. You always try different juices and like I'm always amazed. Like you look at the menu, because I don't do that, because I would never spend like $6, $7, $10 on a mocktail not knowing if I'd like it or not. But you always look at a menu and you're like, well, that looks yummy, and then you just order it. And you
If it's
like,
not good, it's not good.
I
But
don't think I don't think there's
I
anything I've ever heard you say like, yeah, I don't like this.
that's the one thing for me.
Like you're usually like, it's okay.
I think like I probably can think in the last like 20 or 30 years, like when there was something I couldn't really eat or drink. Like I pretty much am like, I'm the type of person that if you don't like it, I'll be like, you want to swap? And I'll just eat yours, because you know what? There's going to be another meal later and one tomorrow, I hope. Knock on wood. Right? So I'm always more like, whatever. If you were like, ooh, I don't really like this, I'd be like, well, why don't you try mine? Like, you want to swap?
You did. I
Okay.
think we did that
I'm
with the
kind of
milk in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and then
I'm
discovered
kind of
that
like that.
we
I'm
didn't
like, oh,
like either
this.
one. But you
So for
still
me, I
drank them.
always think like it's just if I don't love it, then it's just another, I'll just try another one later.
It's just, I think it's just
But
because you're
also
so
like
easygoing, Carrie. Like
pop,
seriously.
but pops are like, when you go to a restaurant and a pop is like $3.99 or something, like if you're like, I don't want to drink a soda. Like I might have a ginger ale once in a blue moon, but for a couple more bucks, I'd rather try something that's fun and fruity or frozen or something.
I love it. That's how
I
I
did have a
find out
few
about all
mocktails.
these. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
hmm It's what I like to do.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
know.
Why
I
not,
love
man?
it.
Everyone gets to drink their alcoholic beverages.
Yep.
So,
Then Carrie
can
drinks
I get
all
my
the
Bud Light?
mocktails.
You got any lime? Well, take your Bud and stuff it then if you don't got any limes. Although she says it much more politely.
Yeah, and we did get to meet in my favorite Outer Rim bar, so we got to meet there and have a drink there. So yeah,
Again,
we have so much
think about
vacation
if they
to talk
fancied
about.
up that outer rim.
I know.
Plain.
It's very plain. It's very plain. We have so much vacation left to talk about, Carrie, and we've been talking like for
Yeah.
quite a while, and we haven't even done it. So I think this is going to be a two or three part.
A two-parter. We could carry on to just talk about, your trip.
Well, we've got to talk about your trip and my trip, and we've got So, but at least we've covered the dining plan. And
this isn't really a trip report, as Carrie squawks about the dining plan and
the dining plan, Contempo Cafe, and
the Canadian resident ticket.
Airport shenanigans. Oh
We
yeah,
use
the
those
Canadian.
too.
We use those too. So you use those, and my travel companions use those, and they were fine. The only thing was you had to go to guest services to activate them. You can't do it at the hotel, which is a bit of a pain for people who get there, say, late and then first wanted
that was
to
us,
rope
but
drop.
we didn't go. Yeah, we were rope dropping, but yeah,
Right.
like that would be the pain that you have to make sure you've got to be there early enough to do that before you go
Right.
in the park.
See, we arrived in the afternoon and we were just going to go over to the park for fireworks and stuff. So it wasn't really a big deal for us. When we got to guest services, there was nobody in line. So it wasn't a big
same here.
deal. But it could be a pain for those that arrive late and want to rope drop. So our tip on the Canadian resident tickets.
You just got to be informed because they save you a whole ton of money.
They do. So that was a special deal announced just for Canadians, and for, for Americans and others listening, it's because our dollar is so bad.
Yeah.
Our dollar is so bad that we paid like 30% on everything. So when you see something for $1, we're paying $1.30.
Yeah.
So they did give us a deal on some Canadian tickets, but it was minimum 5 days. Like there were lots of, minimums and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, it worked out and it saved us a bunch of money, but you have to prove that you're a Canadian resident. So you have to go to the window and show your ID. It's got to be government issued, but they said a driver's license would do. So you didn't have to carry your passport. But you have to show that and to get it activated. So something to consider. Research. Okay, Carrie.
Yeah.
Pixie Dust, what you got?
Well, when I was away, Glenda registered us for a virtual puzzle competition.
How do you do a virtual puzzle competition?
So the same organization that runs the big in-person one, the Canadian Jigsaw Puzzle Association, they have been doing virtual ones. And at first Glenda was like, I don't know about doing a virtual one. But then we realized that the annual competition is going to be in May. And it's January already.
Yeah.
So Glenda registered us for the doubles virtual. I think it's like at the start of March. So Glenda went online. She registered for our spot. They mailed her a box. It's like a brown box. We know it's from Puzzles Canada, which is the best puzzle store in Ontario or in Canada. Well, it's the only big puzzle store we know of, so it's always going to be the best to us. They mailed us the puzzle, and it's got like labels on it, like do not open this box. Like we're not allowed to open the box till the day of the puzzle competition. So Glenda registered. I think they sent her the links or whatever and what time it starts, like the Zoom link. So we leave the box, we can't touch it. Then I would expect that when we all get in the Zoom, they're probably going to let us open the box because it's like a packed box. Like it's not like it's just in a baggie or whatever, like at the competition. So, and then we'll do the puzzle over Zoom, and that's how they determine who wins. They have you on Zoom.
So you have like a camera focused on the table so they can see that you put the puzzle, and then you show them the puzzle.
I think that we just have it. We're on a Zoom and we prop up the laptop or the phone or whatever, so that it'll just watch us do the whole puzzle. So like we'll prop it up so that like if I bring my laptop like this, I'm gonna prop it up and like somewhere where it looks over the table where we're puzzling. Mm-hmm. Wow. They've been doing quite a few of them since the last, like they did them during
That's
COVID,
impressive.
And I think they've been doing them like there's like, as much as everybody teases me about puzzles, like I can't go a day without somebody. I can't go a day, like even at work, whatever. Like I can't go a day with somebody not saying, "Oh, I thought of you because of a puzzle," or like puzzle whatever. Like I get people send me stuff on Instagram.
I know.
Like, every single day, but like no joke, like puzzling was like, oh, we need a puzzle during COVID, but everybody realized like puzzling's a whole lot of fun. So like
a whole lot of fun. Carrie's doing a commercial. Like, you could be a commercial for a puzzle place.
Like since the last puzzle competition, like they're doing puzzle competitions like every month, like virtual puzzle competitions.
Oh my gosh.
Like
this is about to take over Carrie's world.
It is selling like these virtual puzzle competitions are selling out in like minutes because there's only 40 spots or whatever. Like I think the next puzzle competition, Glenn and I went out for coffee last night. We had to like get, she went on a European trip. I went away. I cat sat her cats. We had lots to catch up on. And we were at the end, we were talking about like the strategy for this. And I'm like, we can't be this like you register you, me register me. I'm like, you're gonna have to register for all of us. We're gonna have to be online. We got to do it all in one fell swoop because it's gonna be a 2-day competition. They're expanding it, but I guarantee it's probably gonna sell it in a day. There's so many people that are into that puzzle group now and that Facebook group that it's big. Like puzzling's
a big
awesome.
Deal. It's a
but
big
for all
deal.
the people that tease, like they just need to get a puzzle and have some fun because it's everybody's
now,
puzzling.
Are there spectators
for this? Have invested in Ravensburger. All the puzzle companies.
Yeah, disclaimer. Carrie does not own shares in Ravensburger or any of the puzzle companies.
Wish I did.
But so this virtual one, is there a virtual spectator? Like, can we watch? Well, find out because that would be fun. I would come and cheer you on.
Maybe I wonder if they post it afterwards. They may
Maybe
post
there's
it
a
on YouTube
video.
or
Yeah, so
something.
make sure your hair's done and all that stuff because you might end up on YouTube later. Oh, that
We
would be
probably
so
will.
fun. Okay, so what date is this virtual
I
competition?
think it's the 2nd of March
Okay.
at Glenda's house. We're gonna.
Awesome.
And it's got a big dining room table.
Right. So perfect and conducive for puzzling. That's awesome.
So that's exciting.
That is
like,
very
surprise!
exciting.
I got an email that said, "Thank you for your registration." So
I'm excited
very
for
exciting.
you.
So
very.
Yeah, that's my pixie dust. So how about you?
Cool.
Beat that.
I got plain pants.
Oh dear.
I am always in a kerfuffle about what to wear on the plane. So I have these
Why?
pants.
You just wear what's comfortable. I don't understand.
know, but because there's my mother's voices in my head about track pants. So I live in track pants at home, but she always told me that track pants, like, you look like a hoodlum.
Oh boy, she wouldn't leave the house nowadays.
Oh my God. If she saw what people were wearing, like, including me. So sometimes I go to leave the house and I think, oh my gosh, my mother would be mortified if she saw what I was going out looking like. So I always, for some reason, when you combine the plain with my mother's voice, I struggle to put on the track pants to get on the plane.
Like, do you think you're gonna be like an NBA player, like the NBA and the football guys who, like, they have to get all dolled up in their Sunday best to go on the plane?
Right?
Maybe you
like,
just go that route.
Well, that's because she always said, like, you had to be dressed to go on the plane, right? So anyway, so I always used to wear these pants that I got, like, at Mark's Work Warehouse or whatever, but they weren't necessarily comfortable, but they were more comfortable than jeans or pants or whatever. So they were on the spectrum. But I found these new pants at Pennington's, and they are they're technically yoga pants. However, they have, like, pockets on the side that make them look like cargo pants. So if you're standing like 4 feet away from me, they actually look like pants, like pants, not yoga pants. So they don't look like I'm wearing, like, track pants, yoga pants, whatever. And they are so comfortable. So I bought them like 2 days. So first I had gone to Old Navy, bought a pair of, like, cargo pants. They were horrible. Like, it was just, my body isn't made for these pants at Old Navy. They were either too small, too big. I was like, I couldn't figure it out. I was like, what's that fairy tale with the girl with the house? This one's too warm. This one's too hot, whatever. Anyway, so that's what I was thinking. I don't know where my brain was going.
Oh,
anyway, so I had been to Old Navy 3 times to change these pants. And then I finally just returned them. I was like, this is not going to work. My body doesn't like them. And then I happened to find these ones at Pennington's, which, like, they look like good pants. So yeah, they're like my new plain pants. Ta-da. So, like, I came home and I'm like, I need to order another pair of these pants because I love them that much. No, I haven't yet. But like, I could
send me a link of what they look like.
Carrie, from the order. Seriously, like, I could probably get away with wearing these to work.
I wear jeans to work now.
Well, depending on the office I'm going to, if I'm going downtown to, like, the regular office, I don't wear jeans. But if I'm going to, like, the other office where there's, like, it's connected to a warehouse, so whatever, I wear jeans, I don't care. But I could probably wear these.
My boss used to be so strict about, like, the men should have collars and you should look like, at least like business casual or whatever. And then after COVID, he started to wear jeans. and he'll be business on top and jeans on the bottom, unless he's got to, like, be in a very specific situation where he knows he needs to be in a full suit. And I figure for me at work, like, nobody wants to really be in the office, like, half jokingly but not jokingly, and nobody wants to be there really except for me. So I'm like, well, then I'm gonna, like, I'm just, I'll wear a sweater or like a shirt that I would regularly have worn to work. But then I still wear work, like, dress pants sometimes, but, like, if I feel like rocking jeans, I'm like, I'm just gonna wear my jeans because, like, I think if I'm really the only one that, like, loves going to work, that I should be able to wear whatever the heck I want. You should wear
whatever you want. Well, I always found that for some reason men always look so smart in their jeans, but they have on, like, a dress shirt or a nice golf shirt or something. They always look so professional. So then for a while I was like, why can't I do that? So I bought a bunch of golf shirts off Amazon, and that's what I wear when I wear my jeans to work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So now I have plain pants, and I actually like I could possibly get away with wearing them to work.
Well, make sure you send me a link when you order them so I can see what these plain pants look like. For me, as long as pants fit me, then I love wearing jeans. I know that there's some younger generations, like my niece, maybe she's a little bit better now, but when she was younger, she hated wearing jeans. Like hated them. Like you had them because you had to have jeans. And like I always think they're probably my most comfortable thing I have. Like I'd rather wear jeans and wear like stretchy pants or whatever. Like
really?
Yes. Like as long as something fits me and I'm comfortable, as long as it fits me, I don't feel that one's more comfortable than the other. Like I think jeans on a plane are just as comfortable as if I was wearing stretch pants or whatever on a plane. Like the comfort level to me is the same as long as they fit. Like if they don't fit and I feel uncomfortable, then that's one thing. But as long as they fit me okay, then I'm like, I don't know. I think I feel more what I feel more comfortable in more than like what my like if I feel more comfortable wearing jeans or like more traditional pants, like I don't wear stretch pants out and about, right? So like I wouldn't want to wear them on a plane. I wouldn't, maybe they would be comfy, but I wouldn't feel comfy in them, right? Whereas jeans are good to wear.
Yeah, see, for me, I think it's the thickness. Like my plain pant, like I don't wear tights anymore. Let's just be clear.
Maybe we should, because everybody else is wearing them.
Oh, Gary, nobody wants to see this in tights. Like, let's be clear. But my track pants or like yoga pants or whatever, I think it's the thickness in relation to the jeans. The jeans are thicker, so they make me hot, right? And I'm always hot. Which was another thing that I loved about going to Walt Disney World again in January, was that it was so cool.
Nice and cool.
It was so cool.
We
like
cool
I had t-shirts on, and it was fantastic. My sister had on 2 hoodies, a hat, a toque, and gloves.
Mitts.
Yeah. But anyway, that's for another episode. Here we go. We've said this. Okay. So we'll see you next week. Thank you all for listening.
In 2 weeks. We see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Aunt Carol has told me a few times to mention it to you, but I haven't yet, that you always say, see you next week. But she's like, but you're not going to be back next week. You're going to be in 2 weeks. So,
that's all right.
And I usually don't notice you,
Carol.
I usually don't notice you when you say it, but since you said it now, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll tell you when Aunt Carol said that.
You're right.
We'll see you in a few.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks. That's better.
And what about, don't forget to leave a review.
We haven't said that in so long, eh?
Yeah, and tell a friend if you think that they'd like to listen to two kooky gals talk about whether jeans are comfy or not.
Exactly. Tell people about us. All right. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Make sure you're following us on your favorite podcast player so you'll get a new episode every week. And find us on social media too. We'd love to hear from you.
Till next time, remember, you are never too old to be young. Chase your dreams and design your own happily ever after.